Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to NoCritsGiven and to the first episode of Deadfire. He thinks I can't see him, but I can see him. There he is. This is going to be our first attempt of many of an actual play podcast. Before I jump into anything else, please excuse any issues there may be with cameras. We had a very big technical issues before we got going tonight. We found a workaround. We are going to go and we are going to give it our all, and I'm sure you will enjoy it.
Josh killed a man.
Josh did kill a man on the way here. Literally, we're on a timeline before the sirens start going. So if we have to kill a character off quickly, we will. And we will carry on with you guys. For those of you I haven't watched before, my name is Ben. I am going to be your guiding hand through this epic tale of piracy, of adventure, of treasure. Loads of fucking treasure. But I can't do this on my own, so you've probably seen them pulling faces at the camera and waving at things already, but I'm going to introduce the 5 members of the party that are going to go with us. First and foremost, I'll tell you what they've done here, guys, and this is my fault. I've written their names in an order, and they're not sat in that order. So this is going to be fun.
Sounds like you see it right out the window, doesn't it? So when I came and said who's sitting there, whatever.
Yeah, well, I hadn't read my notes, had I? My own notes that I've been reread. Full disclosure, I rewrote this episode 12 hours ago. Right, people here. First and foremost, my right-hand man and the person you will know from this podcast. He is my co-host, and he is a very good friend of mine. It's the incomparable Mr. Joe Smith.
Oh. Hi there, guys.
Look at that little face!
Hi everyone. Hope you're going to enjoy the first episode of Deadfire. Hopefully the first of many episodes of Deadfire. We're really looking forward to bringing this to you guys. It's something that we've had in the works for quite a while. You can see me shooting off looks to Ben because this has been like a little brainchild of ours. So we're really looking forward to bringing it to you. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. So thank you for being here.
Full disclosure for all the 4 of you, not everybody needs to just talk to camera. You can if you want, I'm going to interview you. Next up, the man who, amongst other things, pretty much paid for everything and bought all the tech, but he brings in another extra element to the party and to our group. It's Mr. Jamie Doherty. We have the man who you have met before. You have met him. He was on one episode of the podcast and then we never saw him again, but we found him. We dug him up. He was dead. He was dead. But we found it. It's Zlatan I'd said it wrong. IbraHAMEovic. IbraHAMEovic. Josh Hames, everybody. And you will know you've never met him, but a man that we've spoken about many times on the podcast. He's usually the forever DM. He is the man that's inspired the way I'm going to DM tonight. You didn't know I was going to say that. It's Lloyd Curtis. I'm really shy, Ben. I don't know what to do on camera.
I was fully expecting the book to go up. That was fantastic.
You didn't catch me there. I'm just catching up on my notes.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Luke Jackson, everybody.
Hello.
He's also here.
He's also...
I'm physically present, yes. More on that conversation.
Small thing about our group, we are the same group that meet every week to play the Ice by Pete campaign that we tell you so much about on our podcast. We would have loved to bring that campaign to you, but we wanted to keep that a bit separate so we can enjoy the game on a more lads around the table having a laugh night, whereas this is going to be a bit more produced, a little bit more content driven for you guys at home. On my notes just say banter ensues, so we'll skip past that bit. Banter ensues. How are we all? How are we doing? How are we feeling?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it said if you also have a good time.
Yes. It says laugh on my notes. Everybody laugh. Side note that I've just thought about, and this will come to no shock to anyone who watches the podcast, it's really fucking hot in this. I'm gonna say studio. It's really hot in this studio, so forgive us if we start protruding with sweat. It's fine. Protruding with sweat. Perspirating. No, protruding. It's that big.
Add to the atmosphere of the campaign. You can see
Projectile sweating.
Projectile sweat.
Just like we're in the Caribbean.
What I've done is done the climate in this room to match the setting of where we're going to be.
Yeah, none of us are thanking you for that.
Yeah, I thought I'd wear this jacket for a little bit of style on camera. I'm regretting this. Right, before we dive in...
We're in black. Or dark colours.
I think we're all going, it's hot, isn't it?
under these studio lights. Fucking hell.
I was going to say, in fairness, most of us weren't pre-warned about the studio lights.
Well, it's either that or I put the big light on and that's darker.
Alright.
Studio lights is fine.
Way to make ourselves known geographically, the big light.
Yeah, because before that, people, I wonder where they're from. I wonder where they're based, these guys have all got thick English
Clearly
accents.
German.
Before we start, a little bit of housekeeping. First, I've gone through this with the guys, but just to let you guys know at home. Some of us may be attempting character voices tonight. We are going to...
That was my fault. I went to put my pencil in under my tooth and it just went straight down my throat.
Not everything has to go that way.
We've not even started yet!
I'm really sorry.
Get a bit
I'm really
suggestive
sure if
there.
anybody wants to cut that or clip it or whatever, I'm sure that'd be a good
We've
laugh.
not even started!
Just the eye contact.
So what we're learning is that Joe made eye contact with Lloyd and deep-throated a pencil.
A little bit there.
We've all
It's
just jumped the gun a little bit, but we're there.
That was that banter that ensues.
This here, I said, notes was good. Tonight is this is what I'm calling a hybrid campaign, and by that what I mean is that all of the locations and everything are real in the world of D&D. We are playing in the realm of Faerun, but they might be the lore and the locations and the people knocking about. It's really hard to present this with people doing shit behind the camera. Sorry. It might just be a little bit different, so it fits my story, fits what we got. It was either this or write a whole completely different world, and that means we wouldn't have been able to bring you this for another year. So I hope you enjoy the tweaks and the changes that I'm going to make to full D&D lore. Like I mentioned earlier, this was meant to be a one-shot, but it's devolved into a full campaign, so we are going to go... The point being, we're going to go as long as we can tonight, and that'll be episode 1.
Cool.
So we will try and leave it at a natural point, at a natural standstill. But if not, hey, cliffhangers. Who doesn't love a cliffhanger? Right, that's the boring bits out of the way. We're going to jump into the campaign. We're going to start. Is everybody alright? Is everybody ready?
Yeah, we're all good.
Everybody got it out of the
They've all
system?
limbered it up.
Everybody got any sexual acts with a pencil out of their system?
That's what's going to be on here, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, now Lloyd's got it in his
I've
hair.
all of a sudden become a working man.
I feel like you're about to give me a quote for some plastering. It's going to cost you, lads. So we open on the interior of quite a well-to-do, well-made, what sort of not rich, not like upper class, but middle, sort of lower middle class. Not quite a stately home, but like a big house. Like it's all got nice decorated. There's decorative carpets down a hallway. There's ornate sort of tables and chests and paintings of people, like really important, stately-looking men along the wall. And as the camera sort of goes down this hallway, we pass a window, and out the window you can see a massive, quite a wide bay. There's a good 3 or 4 massive big frigate ships in the harbour bobbing. It's a lovely day. The sun's beating down on this thing. Everything seems quite nice. The camera spins back round as we go back down the hallway, and from a room off to one of the sides we can hear 2 or 3 men talking quite loudly, quite assertively, maybe not aggressively, but they're obviously having a bit of a big debate about something. We come round a corner into another room, where in the middle of a room a small Triton boy is playing with some blocks. Just playing, having a good time. Luke, can you describe what a 3-year-old your character might look like for us, please?
As a 3-year-old?
As a 3-year-old. Catching them off guard.
Green hair, blue skin, still quite tall for their age though. Not, I don't say malnourished, but on the thinner side.
Slim.
Slim, yeah. And playing with some blocks and
He's just got some wooden blocks playing on the floor.
Just moving them slightly, somewhat without necessarily touching them.
Yeah,
even at this early age.
Maybe just like hands sort of millimetres over the top sort of thing.
Mostly it looks like manipulating the moisture more than anything else.
I think that's fair. Yeah, sounds good.
And probably wearing quite a tunic with some pops of colour that sort of look like coral and stuff like that, and but very oceanic colours. Still fairly bright, but also with quite a few dark patches throughout the clothing. But equally, he is looking a bit uncomfortable with the fact he's on land.
Yeah. So this is Typhus. This is Typhus as a 3-year-old. He's very young. He sat just in his own little world playing with these bricks. Sort of, he's discovered he can manipulate them slightly, like you said, manipulate the water. He's sort of trying to push it as far as we can go. Off to your left slightly, there is a big, sort of solid oak, dark oak door, which has got like more of the same intricate designs on it. And the door opens, and out walks a man, a tall man, a human man. He's got like quite a militaristic uniform. It's not like the local military or local force, but it's quite well-to-do, well brought up. He walks out, sees you playing your things. This is a man that you know to be your father. Your father, obviously, even as a 3-year-old, you are aware that he looks very different to you. There is maybe something that it intrigues you about that. You don't necessarily think that's wrong, but he's different to you. But this is your father, this is your dad. And as he walks out, he stops and takes a look at you, and then carries on walking. And the 2 men that we heard talking in the room with him follow him out, and they go down the stairs and they leave. Can you do a perception check for me, please? I don't think you can fail it, but I'm not going to tell you the DC.
That is a 16.
Yeah, you smash it. It was a DC 3. As you see
your record, I couldn't have found it.
I didn't want to just give you something for free, so I was like, I'll make you do an early check. Even as a 3-year-old, you're playing, you see your father come down, and as you look at where he's come, you notice that for the first time in your memory, the door is open. Just a little bit, hasn't locked. This is a room that you've never been allowed in, have you never seen the inside of. What'd you do?
I go and push the door open to see whether I can just see inside. I have no intention of going in, I just want to see what's in there.
As you sort of push the door, even like with your 3-year-old, he's like, I mean, not a baby, you're a 3-year-old and you're a Triton, so you've got a bit of force behind you, so you open it and it swings open. And it's your dad's study. There's a big desk in the middle, again, same sort of wood, same sort of dark pine. Again, similar sort of designs, these swirling patterns and carvings in it. Directly behind the chair behind that, there is a very, very different cabinet. This cabinet looks like it's been all carved out of one piece of like a dark, almost obsidian-looking material. As you stand there, you see this cabinet at the back, very different, very eye-catching by being different. On that check, you also hear
as a 3-year-old, the curiosity is going to take over, and I'm going to wander in towards.
Yeah.
See if I can just see where this sound's coming from, but equally get the sense of foreboding that I'm in a place I shouldn't be.
But you want to look at the cabinet?
I'm going to look at the cabinet.
So as you walk up to the cabinet, this music it's playing very faintly. I know that was quite loud, but very faintly, and it sort of fills you as that sense of foreboding that you said is still there. You're very aware that you're not meant to be in here. There must be a specific reason that your father has never let you in this room. But this cabinet, this music and this very interesting thing in front of you is sort of blocking out everything. And for a second, it almost looks like this is the only thing you can see in your vision. Do you attempt to open it?
I attempt to get close. I want to feel what it's like first before I...
So, as you walk round your dad's desk, you're standing directly in front of it, looking up at it. the word I would use to describe how you're what it's sort of feeling like is inviting.
Okay. I'm going to reach out to touch it. No more intention than that at this moment.
As you reach your hand out, your skin barely makes contact with the doors, and they disintegrate away, disappear, almost disapparate away.
The doors.
The doors disappear. So they disappear in front of you. Not your hands. Yeah, your hands are now gone. And in the middle of this, when the doors disappear, there's this black, almost seemingly empty and forever-looking void. Like you can't see the back of this thing. But then in the middle is a 1.5 foot square piece of parchment floating flat in front of you, and on it there are, as a 3-year-old, what you can see is different colours swirling, moving around. So at one point the whole piece of paper goes green, and then it fades to red, and then it changes to a various number of lines, different colours, oranges and greens and yellows, and that all interconnecting and moving. That music's still playing faintly, but very prevalent to you now.
I'll reach out.
As you reach out, slowly, the interest in your hand, the interest in your eyes being possessed by this thing, you get again millimetres away from it, and a little bit of the magic, like a little spark of light, jumps off and just dances on your fingers. As you look down at your fingers to sort of watch it, you're a 3-year-old, you're amazed, like lights take your attention quite quickly. It's dancing around your fingers. As you're watching it and you see it sort of almost doing a dance, it almost seems to be in rhythm. You hear footsteps outside the door.
What, coming back up the stairs or immediately?
There, you can tell they are the unmistakable sound of your father's boots heading back upstairs.
I quickly turn around and hide underneath the desk. Or attempt to, I should say.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I can give you that. As you hide under the desk, as you step away, the doors materialise again, like nothing had happened. You slide under the desk, hiding away, and as you look back down at your hand, the spark of light's gone. The camera zooms in on your, this is the weirdest thing I'm ever going to say, 3-year-old face, onto your eyes, as a series of colours flashes across your eyes, and we cut to black. Camera sort of zooms along the deck of the ship, inside this sort of room, past a big, ornate table, under this big ornate door that is standing in the way, into this room, a very dark room. It's got lantern lights around the side. There is a desk with maps and papers and all sorts on, and behind the desk sits Captain Zho Zho. Joe, describe Captain Zho Zho for us, please.
So, Zho Zho, at this point in his life, about 30-year-old human male, standing just under 6 foot tall. All he remembers, sort of, from who he used to be, he knows he was someone before, however, suffered a tragic incident and lost a lot of memory. Has now adopted a new way of living from the people that found him and nursed him back to health, and has become known as Zho Zho. He sits in his captain's quarters, ornate in his Mizuchi sapphire blue armour, named after that of water dragons from the people that nursed him back to health in their history, that's what they're called. With sort of golden inlays, there's dragon heads on the shoulder plates, and as the helmet comes around, there's a dragon head resting on the top of that as well, which is also golden. He's currently on a pathway, very honourable man, and wishes to guide the crew that he's with at this moment in time on this honourable path with him. He says that we've got a destination, and he's determined to get them all there.
Cool. So in this moment we see Zho Zho sat behind his desk. He's sort of busy in preparation. He knows the ship that he has been looking for the past 3, 4, 5 months is within his grasp. He knows he's found it. They are hunting it down. What sort of mindset would you say he's in as he prepares for battle, maybe?
Zho Zho's very much quite calm person. He's learned this code of honour and code of conduct, almost like a Bushido that he follows. It's something that I previously forgot to mention in the description, but he also has a mask covering his face, which is split into two parts. The bottom half of his mask is completely separate to the top half. There's no sort of innate carvings on with the top half. He'll always unclasp it though, if he needs to drink, eat or whatever, and will just always just open out the front of his mask. You tend very rarely to see Zho Zho's full face. With the ship he's been pursuing now within target, within close range, he's now got himself into this very much sort of zen moment. He's aware that there's going to be potentially a battle on the horizon. He's contemplating, as the captain of the New Dawn, how he is going to look after his brothers, look after everyone on the ship, his brothers, how he's going to make sure that he can pull them all through another fight and ensure that he gets to that end goal. He's promised them all that he's going to take, on the promise he's going to take them with him. He's going to get them to their end goal. So he's trying to make sure he can do that.
Can you give me a base intelligence check?
Base intelligence?
Yeah, just intelligence. Not like a skill, just an
Yeah,
intelligence.
thanks for picking my worst stat, mate.
You're the captain of this ship, mate. Be intelligent.
That's going to be, with bonfires, a 11.
Yeah, 11's fine. So what I'll say on 11 is, knowing the reason you are pursuing this. So yeah, you got a tip from this barmaid who works at a tavern in Rockcliffe Bay. She's let you know that the thing you may be seeking, maybe on this ship, all you were told was that a ship flying no colours is carrying it, and for some reason doesn't make port. This is a ship that other ships have been seen reaching it and then sailing away. For some reason, this ship doesn't make port. On that, because this thing that you may be searching for, it might be on there, you will have told your crew not to fire at the ship. Your intentions are to board the ship, to search this ship, and then if battle ensues. But as you don't know whether this thing is massive, whether it's small, you don't want to risk losing it to Wavy Bones' locker, because continuity and all that.
Not copyright, continuity.
Not copyright. I didn't say anything that was copyright. As Zho Zho sat there thinking through, getting himself ready, he hears a knock at the door. Do you know him? You summoning him in?
Zho Zho will sit. So, in my mind, Zho Zho is sat at the
desk.
At the table that you previously described. Zho Zho is known to drink a cup of sake from time to time. He always has a nice bottle of it in his captain's quarters. He probably has a glass with him on the table, and will say, as he takes a sip from it, clasps his mask, opens it, takes a shot, and puts it down on the table, and will say, "Enter."
So as the door sort of swings open slowly, the light from outside fills it, and you see a silhouette of a man. A silhouette you have seen many times before in the last few months, the last 18 months since you took over as captain. It is the shadow of your right-hand man, your second in command, Matryn. Josh. Matryn. Can you describe your character for us, please?
So, I'm a dark elf character, so my background is that it's a very rustic and harsh growing up. So I am more of a barbarian kind of thing, like I'm used to like grunting and showing my emotions more through sound than I am through talking, but as time has developed and I've been a pirate for many years, like obviously I developed the skill to speech, but that kind of barbarian grunting background is always with me. My character wears like no armour or anything like that, it's more kind of all leather, like from his Cauld, like that barbarian, he always likes to keep that barbarian instincts in him, so it's more of like egg leather kind of kilt with like some metal rings around him. He doesn't, and like leather straps all around him, like around his body and stuff. Then round his neck he has like a big fur kind of part of it. So then like he's used to that kind of cold. You know, like you see when it's really cold, so they have the big fur, kind of as if he's been killing lots of stuff. And yes, that's the character. He's this barbarian, but he's been on the ship for quite a while. He's been, obviously as a dark elf, he's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, sounds good.
I think it's fair to say that
Matryn has been on the ship for years. Like, he was part of the previous captain's regime. He was already quite high up in that regime. Fully supported Zho Zho when Zho Zho made his bid for captaincy. When Zho Zho killed the old captain, just anyway, and then fully supported. Not in a sort of snivelly sort of way, but more in a recognition of Zho Zho's attributes and him being the correct leader to sort of take you forward. As you walk into the room, you see your captain sat there. Obviously, I'm assuming offering you a chair. As you think over the years, maybe have become a little bit of a friend as opposed to just a subordinate, a crew member.
So he's still stood in the doorway.
Yeah, you've beckoned him in. He's walking into the room.
As Matryn walks in, Zho Zho will stand up from where he is. Will walk past one of the empty chairs on the table, pull it out, continue walking, and will then pick up his bottle of sake from the side. Will walk back to the table, top up a glass for Matryn, walk back to his seat, sit down and top his own glass up and put the bottle.
Captain, got some great news for you. We're right on the tail of this ship. We should be catching up with it very soon.
Zho Zho will once again pick up his glass.
As Zho Zho's doing that, I'll be doing the same with my one as a kind of celebration in preparation for this fight that's going to ensue.
He will close the bottom half of his mask, and you'll hear as he clinks the bottom half of his mask back into place. He will then look up at Matryn and say, I promised you all that I would take you down this path to a destination where we would all prosper, where we would all be free. This ship holds the first step along that path. Matryn, tell our brothers to man their stations and summon my crew council.
I will do that at once for you, Captain. Is there anything else that you require?
Can I just get a grasp of the... I'm assuming we're in roaring hot weather.
it's tropical climate. It's sort of steady breeze. It's sort of, you are upwind. You have got the trump on this, so the wind's in your favour. To give you an idea that there is some sort of wind propulsion to your ship.
Okay.
Apart from that, gorgeous sunshine, blue skies, completely clear, perfect sailing weather.
So as Matryn says that, Zho Zho will stand up and walk to almost like sort of the back of his cabin. He will pick up a stick, which is a little stick, and he's going to dip it into one of his lanterns. And as he holds it over his lantern, he catches sort of embers, just enough of it, and he pulls it out. And there is constant smoke coming off it. And all of a sudden, this nice sort of smell of flowers suddenly fills in his cabin. And he's going to dangle it around in front of him, and he's going to run it past his face. And as he runs it past his face, the smoke sort of disappears into the nostrils of his dragon mask, and he's going to then put it into some sort of wooden box that holds it. And he's going to turn around to Matryn and exhale all of this smoke back out of his dragon nostrils. So out of this top half of his mask where his nostrils is, it looks like a dragon. All this smoke is going to come bellowing out, and he's going to say, "Summon my council."
So I think on that's a sort of message clearly sent to Matryn as he next the rest of his sake turns and leaves. The camera will sort of watch Matryn leave, obediently shutting the door behind him, not going to leave the door of his captain's cabin open and wide. The camera will turn round again to see Zho Zho stood there, getting ready, about to go and command his, just to sit in on the council to come up with the plan for attack. The camera will sort of go past him and out of a window that's at the back of the cabin. I'm showing captain's cabin sort of at the back, sort of zip across the sky a bit, turn back towards the ship and come into a lower port window sort of to the side. And as we come in there, we see a very, very different room there. So we come back in and we see all this sort of steam billowing everywhere and noise because there's a seating area down to the end. And as the camera spins round, we see a sort of younger looking fire genasi guy who's got like a makeshift apron tied round him, I think it's fair to say. Maybe even he's fashioned himself out a bit of a chef's hat. As we see Lloyd's character. Lloyd, can you describe Cauld for us?
Cauld.
Thank you.
So it's Cauld.
But C-A-U-L-D.
Yeah.
So what you see is a 6 foot tallish, red, coppery skin with an orange scar-like mark down the side of his face. His irises are solid black with bright red irises. Shoulder-length hair, dark ashy grey colour with half of it tied up. And the ends of it looks like it wisps off into smoke. But it's very faint. You're not quite. It depends on the light you're looking at it. He wears a long sleeve black fabric shirt which just ends above his stomach. So his midriff is completely exposed, minus the apron, obviously. When he is, you've probably seen him in battle attire. He wears like a metal chest plate and matching braces over it. And his lower half trousers over like a soft grey with black leather boots. And around his neck, it almost looks like it's on fire, but at closer glance you see like an animal shape, and it's just this little ferret companion, and you'll see him testing out food and stuff, and just occasionally just give a little nibble to this ferret.
Give me I don't know what skill you use for a cookery check. Give me a skill check for a cookery. What skill do you use?
Your choice. The ferret's name is called Dara, by the way.
Dara. Oh, no, don't say that name. I'm going to have to pay him.
D-A-R-A.
Space O-B. I don't know. Performance. Give me a performance check and we'll call that skill check. A cookery check.
Natural 20 for 23.
Oh, a natural! Yes! Oh, this instantly you drop like there's a shelf that's got all these different powders and sort of ingredients that are all unlabelled, but without even looking at them, you're grabbing them off, chucking them in, and like you've just brewed a potion, instantly the room, all the smoke and steam in the room sort of changes to this silvery looking thing, and this sweet smell fills the room. You've done it again. Like you've just pulled out, like, given next to no ingredients and a load of just random spices and that, you've managed to make something work.
It's just pork and salt.
It's just pork and salt. It's just pork. There's literally a pirate, like another member of the crew, that's just sat down the end, just there, just. You know when you oversell eating the food, like the first time you've had something nice and you're proper like, oh, this is amazing. He's proper there, just in complete awe of your cooking and in complete aghast. Like, this guy should have left the crew months ago, but has managed to talk his way into staying just because he's just a massive fan of your cooking. That's the reason he stayed. Shitprice Steve. That was Shitprice Steve. On the flip side of that, there's another guy sat there, and he's looking at you and watching you cook, and he's got very specific memories of watching you in battle. Like, he doesn't come down here a lot. He's one of the guys that stays up at the top of the ship, and he's trying to figure out why the guy he's seen is battle.
Because he's very, very jovial about it, and he's like really cutesy with his ferret companion. And it's like,
Dopey, is it?
No. It's more like goes on like, I've made cupcakes.
Oh, okay.
That sort of thing.
Proper mistimed. Like there'll be a really serious discussion going on. You're I just made you a cookie.
Yeah. He does have a small clay oven as a party trick, and he will produce flame and will bake a cookie for you. But it will take about 50-20 minutes.
I fucking love that.
So if you can wait around, like he's in there background going.
It just make you a cookie.
This is what it is. Make you a cookie.
Yeah, okay.
So is that the equivalent of his fidget toy?
Yeah, I guess.
That'd be brilliant. Just always just got a cookie on the
He's
go.
got
He's got a bag of holding. It's got like so many cookies in it. He just keeps
Can you have a
baking.
special move where you can like throw these cookies at enemies?
We'll see. We'll find out. So we've got this guy in one corner and he's sat there and he's loving it. But on the other side, there's this guy watching you and he's trying to figure out how this guy killed 15 people in the last battle. Like, do you know what I mean? How this guy was the same guy. And
I'll never tell.
He decides that he needs to find out what's going on, and he sort of stands up, throws a pot back across the fucking room at you, and says, "Oi, Cauld! Why has it always got to be boiled, mate?"
I mean, do you want, die of dehydration?
He sort of absent-mindedly looks out of this small portcullis at
I mean,
an
if you want
endless sea of
If you
water.
want salt water, I'm glad to let you drink salt water. If that's what you want, I'm just here to make friends.
This guy's going to start getting a little bit annoyed, like he's trying to get to the bottom of something, and he thinks you're sort of trying to wind him up, and he goes, "I'm asking you a serious question here, lad."
I'm giving you an answer. What more? I don't know what to tell you.
I stood on
I don't know what to tell you.
I stood on the deck of this ship and looked over as you killed a man by looking at him.
We've all got talents.
And yet here you are, playing mother to a fucking ferret, cooking me dinner.
Do you have a complaint about my food? Because I will gladly take on any criticism that you have, and we can work through it. Next report, I will take you to the store, and I will make you a specific dietary requirement for you.
Give me a persuasion check.
If that's what you want.
With advantage.
Because I will do that for you. 17 with... it's a dirty 20.
Yeah, no chance. This guy's gonna sort of take a minute and just you and go, I actually called that'd be quite handy, actually. I mean, there's not...
Anything, because obviously,
It's not like I don't like the pork and
but the better I perform, the better you guys perform.
I mean, that's the general gist of it. Yeah, that's why we brought you aboard. Like,
I appreciate every single second. I'm so happy to be here. I'm assuming you're second in command.
yeah.
Judging.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know.
From the way you speak,
I don't know.
Pretty important.
I don't know. Obviously, you've been with us for a few months. You might not have been up to the top. Obviously, I've seen you in battle quite a lot. But
I've been to a few councils.
Yeah, I am.
But, I'm just there to be.
I've not
I'm
actually.
just a cake guy.
You're just a cake. Them cakes were yours.
Yeah,
They were fucking.
I won.
He's gonna back away and go, "Look, sorry for taking up somebody's time. I'll get on to you about next time we port. I will get down that store."
Yeah,
and he's
sure.
gonna
In fact,
just
make a list. If you go around all the crew, if you make a specific requirement for every single one, I will gladly go in there.
on a dirty 20. He's gonna literally make that his mission for the next
even
2 days.
If you want to all do it separately with me, I will take the time because I know a lot of people are embarrassed about their dietary requirements. So if you wanted to go in separately with me, or if as a group, I don't care. I don't know how, how much you share.
He's gone.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, he got to dietary requirements and he was like, "Okay, I'll go make that list."
I'll see you
and
later.
then just leave.
Obviously gone round the ship.
Mm-hmm.
What did you just say in there? You're not saying, get back to that deck! Start swarming that deck!
Just got
Yeah,
the
just-
second sense. He knows.
So as the camera's looking at Cauld, who's just having a lovely time, he's got his ferret passing him down things. In the background, we could just hear Matryn kicking the shit out of someone. He is literally just massive.
Cauld's going, it's amazing. They're so nice. Such nice people, and they're just coming away.
Fucking get back here!
He's absolutely kicking. You can hear like stuff's being smashed into. You can hear like
You just like
sounds like a gunshot goes off. Swords being clattered.
He just going.
It all quiets down. The door opens again. Matryn walks through to tell Cauld he's needed at the council. We don't need to roleplay that bit. That just and then goes again. As you walk away, you sort of go back out. This guy, the camera, you can just see the boots of somebody on the floor, clearly writhing in pain as Matryn's just kicked the shit out of him.
Give him the boots, immediate style.
So stepping over this person, just like proper nonchalantly, like, well, Matryn's doing Matryn. We'll just fucking leave him to it. You walk into Cauld's kitchen. Is Cyren? Jake, can you describe your character for us, please?
What you'd see as Cyren walks in is a guy who's just in pretty basic clothes. He doesn't really have much armour apart from like a single pauldron. But what you'll be able to see sort of protruding from mainly like the chest area is he's got like a bit of a sort of a carapace kind of thing. It's like a natural sort of shelling. Because Cyren, just looking at him, you can see he's just looks like a half elf. You know, he's got slightly pointed ears, sort of slim, narrowed features. Yeah, you'll see like a bit of carapace protruding from underneath his clothing, and if you look closely at like his neck, you'll see there's the sign of gills as well, because he started life as a half elf, but he was experimented on now as a hybrid. You know, he's a Simic hybrid. So and he always has his sickle tucked in his belt. He has a shield that is crafted from a old ship's wheel on his back, and he has a driftwood armor as well, just like braces and stuff. He doesn't have massive amounts of it.
Got wood.
Plenty.
Right, merch note. Got
Yeah, but yeah, he'll
a plan.
I can sort that.
come in, step over the guy, and he'll be like, see Cauld, and he'll just go, so, Matryn's at work again, I see. What did you do?
I'm just cooking, mate. What?
I love how fucking oblivious.
He had
I love how he just does it with his voice. Lloyd has to do nothing, and it's fantastic.
He does have an 8. He does have an 8 wisdom, so.
I did like last week when we were texting after last week's session about it. You were literally like, "Oh, he's never going to roll insight. He will take everything at face value."
Never.
So yeah, you've come in. You've just sort of walked past Matryn. I'm assuming Matryn, you would have mentioned to Cyren about the impending war council that's happening upstairs in the war room. You've come through. You've seen them.
So what happened? I mean,
What do you mean, what happened?
something just happened. Matryn.
Well, I just saw him slamming that guy's head into the wall a few times and kicked him.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was something to do with you, so that's why I came in here.
No.
Just from outside the door, you can hear. It hurts so much. Why is it still happening?
I'm bleeding!
Stop! He's
You just hear a couple, just a couple bang, bang, and they're like, also, I've got something to say to you. I've lost my face mask or somewhere on this ship. Your job to do is in the next 2 days is to bring that mask to me.
Just before that, through the door that's now still open, you just see Matryn walk away like, come back with a barrel. Proper laying into this guy.
Oh, and here he comes with a steel chair!
Just, if you're making notes, write down possible anger issues. Genuinely, write down possible anger issues.
I don't think he needs to.
I'm just telling this guy, I need this mask. We're going into war council. I need my mask. I need it by like the end of today.
Also, my mum never loved me.
So like, I leave it at that point, and then I.
That's your problem.
That's one.
You've got serious issues.
This is going on. This door swings open. So Zho Zho has 2 wakazashis, which are 2 short katanas at his hilt. He also has a longbow, which he wears on his back, quite ornately carved. He's going to, with his right arm, withdraw his left wakazashi, and he's going to throw it down these stairs.
What are you aiming at?
Aiming at anything but just wood or whatever.
What sort of past them?
Yeah, I'm not aiming at any one or any. No, I'm aiming just at some floor or a step or just.
Do me an attack roll on the wall.
Ricochets.
I'm just laughing at Sim being shit up sort for no reason.
So
Because he said he was insane.
No, I know, but there's
Yeah,
more to
just
the list.
that's a D22.
Oh yeah. You do exactly what you're trying to do.
So he's not aiming at anyone. He's literally withdrawing it,
Get some
throwing
attention.
it down the stairs at someone. Bearing in mind it's a short katana. It's very sharp. It's very well made, and it is hitting something. It's not even going rickety. It's just hitting. It's making the noise and going in.
Yeah.
Katanas are known for cutting through stuff.
Yep.
And piercing. So it's pierced the wall next to Matryn, and Zho Zho's going to go, Matryn. First, bring me my sword. Then bring me my counsel. And he's going to go back to his captain's quarters.
And then is that when Matryn's like, this is your fault?
And I just like pick the guy up and go, I need that mask today. Drop him on the ground.
It was
Really,
2 days.
Yeah, I'll come to a day now. I'm then really trying to like get this sword out because it's just so fucking.
Hey, give me a strength check.
How far into Yakety Sax are we?
DC 15 to take it out of the water.
That's an 18 without any modifiers.
Yeah, it gives it. It puts up a bit of a fight,
Yeah.
but you're a big guy. You're a barbarian type of guy. You manage to like fairly easily get it out of the wall. But then, how sharp it is, you carry it sort of.
I'm just I'm
You
holding
haven't
like
got-
a child does.
you haven't
when
got-
you carry in
You haven't got the sheaths,
like
but you're
upside
very aware.
down.
You've seen Zho Zho cut people open like fucking hot butter with these knives. You're like, I know what this blade can do. I'm going to
I'm just
carry it
holding
very,
it. I'm
very
just holding
carefully.
it upside down, so if I fall, it goes into the floor, kind of like as a child does.
Yeah.
Scissors.
So, did you guys? You want to do anything else while you're down in Cauld's kitchen?
I'll just walk up to where Cauld and his ferret is. What's your ferret's name?
Dara.
I'll go, hey there, Dar, and just like give her a little bit of food out of one of my pockets because I work with
Gladly
animals.
accepts.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Anything else?
So, have you heard? Did Matryn tell you we've got a council?
Am I invited this time?
Well, as far as I'm aware, yes. I think we'd better get going. I think I just heard the captain yelling.
Oh, sure. I'll be there in give me an hour?
I mean, if you want one of his swords stuck at you, take all the time you need. But I'm going now.
Does sound like a bad time. I'll better join you.
So you guys are going to head up to the council.
I'm going to take my apron off and don armor just in case.
Yeah. As you go out the door, this guy is now just like on the steps, panting, blood still pouring.
What's his name?
Fucked up, Dave.
Just name him. Go on, name him now. He was in your.
Sure. I was
He's like literally your best friend now. He's going to try and make a list of everyone's dietary requirements for you.
After he's found this mask.
So he's found this mask.
I just step over and go, alright, Luther. And then carry on.
Luther.
Yeah.
Can he just be like holding his face like, and he's just like, where am I gonna find this mask? Where is this mask? I just don't know where he could have put this mask. Like real.
It's like when you shame an orc too much.
Yeah.
Oh, he's found the mask.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Matryn had it all along.
This guy
was wearing it. So you're kicking the glasses and you put on top of your head.
the entire time he was kicking the shit out of him, he was going, but it's on your face!
I was going to go, it was in his quarters right next to his bed.
It's like your threats are muffled through your actual mask.
It's more of a full facial mask, like of a kraken kind of thing.
You didn't realise it was on your face.
That's it. That is fully a thing that was it. So you guys are all going to head to the war room. Like I said, it's the sort of chamber before the captain's cabin. In it, there are barrels and chests and different decorated bits of treasure that you've found and different artifacts on the walls. There is sort of not paintings, but sort of carved imagery into the walls of sort of battles you guys have had, even before and after Zho Zho took over. The walls in this room almost seem these carvings change to like the most sort of high profile battles you guys have won, high profile shows, but you've never seen anybody carve them. These almost seem to change at will. You fully believe that this ship's alive and it just does it itself. You've only been in here like twice, and just give me a perception check as you walk in.
Sweat.
-1. Perception.
Perception.
Z7.
7. You're not even sure there are carvings in the wall. Like, there's something there. It might be. It might not. I just wanted to see if you noticed the change. You've all got seats at the table. Like, I think Zho Zho has a very ornate,
I didn't even notice Lucas' blood.
almost throne-like thing. Not a full throne, but it's clearly the captain's chair. And Cyren and Cauld come and sit. Cauld, a bit unsure where to sit, but sort of Cyren puts his hand on your shoulder, forces you into a chair, like, you can sit there. You come in, blood dripping from your knuckles, heavily panting, fucking blade in one hand that you're desperately trying not to stab yourself or anyone with. Zho Zho comes out of the captain. As the camera sort of pans around the wall, around the room, we notice that there is a last chair, and then directly behind the chair, in a shadowy part of the corner, steps forward the last member of your party, the last member of the generals of Zho Zho. Write that down. And the last one of the crew council. Luke, I'm going to come back to you. Can you describe an adult Typhus to us?
Again, still quite tall, about 6'3", 6'4", that sort of range, but still quite thin. Still got the green hair, still obviously very blue, but much more a muted colour palette. It's all leather, but in the centre of his chest he's got a crystal, which is his magical focus. And if you look into it, you could see waves and possibly a crack that goes down through the centre of it that's in the shape of a lightning bolt. And he's very thin. In his hand, he has on his belt he has some quills and some other like inklets and things like that. And in his hand, he has several maps. Maps. And well as the fact that he also has a looking glass on his hip as well.
I think it's obviously you guys will know, and people at home you'll come to know that you are the sort of the navigator of the crew. You are the guy that's responsible for the like you said, for the maps and everything. I think it's also fair to say that since Zho Zho, and especially the incident that caused Zho Zho to take control of the ship, you were one of the first people to follow him in that battle, and you've become. Whereas Matryn's become like a friend and a sort of war general and a sort of trusted hand with a blade, and in battle you've become like almost an advisor to the captain. You have your own beliefs in where you need to be and the journey you're taking, but you also believe that the promises that Zho Zho has made seem to match yours. So it's through that end you work on a more peer-to-peer, more of an intellectual level, more of a advisory level. Did anyone play Assassin's Creed Valhalla? You know Basim, when he's sort of leading the other guy off? A bit like that. There's clearly a shared interest there that you guys had, which is one of the reasons Zho Zho is so sure that this is the ship, because on the advice of yourself you are also sure as well. You slink forward from the ship. I think it's also fair to say that while you are a pirate and you are part of this crew, you maybe keep yourself to yourself, as you are very focused on your path and your goals. And while kicking the shit out of Luther is fun, it's not going to be. I was going to say, that's not the word I was meaning. Useful. It's not going to progress you to your goal, which is your drive. Is that fair to say?
The first thing he says is he looks over to Cauld and goes, "Any baked goods with you today?"
Well, he's been carrying a tray behind him the entire time. He's like, "I have muffins."
He instantly just grabs one and goes, "Thank you."
He's gonna hold the tray so everyone takes one.
So So as you're...
And the first thing that Typhus does is break a bit off and hand a tiny bit over to Dara.
I love Dara, don't we?
There's
Can I
no
just like a bit half of it and I
context
just
to
see
his
you
head.
for like
I'm taking
through
it.
like a window
So-
and just go to bell
So we've gone with Matryn has taken one.
Yeah.
Second round, Zho Zho will do the right thing as captain and will walk over and say thank you, Cauld. As ever, I don't doubt it will be amazing.
Thank you. Here's a little bit for Dara.
Loving Dara, aren't they? Dara merch. That's my prediction from this series. People will want Dara
No,
merch.
it'll
She
be
is
Matryn
made of fire.
and Doofus.
He's what?
She is made of fire.
It's made of- So every time one of you's gone to fed,
Harmless, like,
yeah,
but
I was gonna say you
there's
singed
always
your
that-
fingers.
There's always that like, I should be touching fire.
Intrigued by the fact. So I'm going to say that you slink forward, you sit down, you all take a muffin, you are ready. As Zho Zho, you have called your crew council. So as Typhus sort of slinks forward, he takes his seat, he takes a muffin from Cauld. Cauld stands there with his tray until everyone's taken one, and then puts the tray down.
No social cues.
No social cues whatsoever.
No social cues.
Like literally holding the tray in front of people's face, like.
Like, it's got to the point where his hand's shaking.
Yeah, all of the muffins are slowly sliding to one end as he's. Cyren takes his seat, his usual spot, and then as Matryn walks in carrying this blade, Zho Zho is sort of stood at the back of, sort of behind his chair, with his back to the rest of the table, sort of turns round and sees his blade being brought back to him.
So like, I'm still holding it really cautiously, like, and I'm walking up to Zho Zho. I'm like, Captain, here's your sword. I made sure it's safe. I made sure there was no damage to it. And it's all okay. And don't worry about it.
So, as Matryn's holding onto it by its handle, Zho Zho will. So this was the sword he unsheathed from his left side. Will clasp his right hand around the actual blade. Just remove it from Matryn's hand. Sort of in this process, sort of drops it, grabs it again by the handle, and just resheaths it.
A slight hand check. What do we say to the god of death?
That is a 18.
Yeah, you smash it easily, no damage taken. Yeah, resheath it. The floor is yours.
Zho Zho is going to, as he resheaths that blade, he's going to look up at Matryn, and just the way that Zho Zho's mask is and the lighting of his cabin, just sort of see this sort of like the sapphire blue eyes that he has hidden behind his mask. And he's going to look up at Matryn and just say, What was all that about?
Captain, he disrespected me. He disrespected you. I heard him talking to Cauld in the kitchen, and he said he was second in command. And I could not have that. I could not have him.
Give me persuasion.
Oh no, that's wrong. Is that a D20?
No, that's a D12.
D12.
Roll the right dice.
I wish I didn't, because that's actually now a 8.
So as you are trying to explain yourself, you can see you can't see a look on your captain's face, but you can tell you're not buying this. Like, he's being honest, but you think this is not a good enough reason to kick the shit out of a member of this crew.
Zho Zho, I'm assuming we're both stood up, me and Matryn. Zho Zho's going to walk over to a chair at his crew council table. He's going to pull it back, and he's going to gesture with his hand to sit down. Zho Zho's going to have his hand sort of not on the back of Matryn's shoulders, but on the back of the shoulders of the chair.
Of the chair, yeah.
If that makes sense. And Zho Zho will say, remember I promised you I would take you to the end of our road, to a destination where we're all free. where we can be ourselves and nothing more and nothing less. Respect that, and respect our crew. When I tell you to kill something, kill it, and I will take you to the end of our road. He'll take his hands off and go and take his place at the group council table. No offense. So I see this happening as Zho Zho's walking to his chair.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Matryn has said that.
Yeah.
Zho Zho's going to do nothing verbally, but will sort of almost kind of nod his head in a way to acknowledge. He understands Matryn's behaviour.
Uh-huh.
He acknowledges who Matryn is. He knows he has those parts, and that's why he liked Matryn.
Uh-huh.
He knows he can go, Matryn, here's a problem. I'm going to just pull the cord on you. You can go and solve it.
There's a snake in my boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's two people's heads.
Yeah, he's.
I think it's fair to say that even though his methods of managing his sort of group of fighters, his sort of he's quartermaster. He heads up the almost the forces, the actual fighting forces of your ship. His methods may be questionable. His methods may not be maybe very very pleasant or friendly, but are successful.
Successful, and Zho Zho's willing to cut him some slack because he appreciates who Matryn is, and he knows that in a fight, he knows that he can call on Matryn. He can always reiterate that I promised you this goal, and Matryn has always gone, yeah, I'll do what you need me to do, but take me to where you promised us. And so he understands Matryn is very much a bit of a loose cannon, but he just wants to reaffirm where he can. Just tone it down where needs be, and when I need you to let loose,
I'll let you know.
then you can let loose.
Yeah, I like it. So you guys, you walk around the table, you take your seat, which is it's not a circle table, it's more of an oval table, implying that while there is not a if a circular table were to be represent that everybody was equal, and a rectangular table denotes a head of the table, an oval war council table is somewhere in between. You are very much the head of the captain of your ship, the head of this table. Yet there is an element of brotherhood and teamwork and camaraderie about it. So you take your seat, which is considerably more ornate than everybody else's, and you sit down. And as you look around the table, everybody knows Cauld has been to one or two of these himself.
I've always got the awkward leg.
You've got that one that's just
Going like,
just getting a bit
got a bit of paper.
just puts it onto the wrong leg, and it's
It's always in the way, no matter what you say.
it's just like you've in previous councils, like this is like your third or fourth council you've been invited to. You've sat on a different chair every time. Every one there's been a dodgy leg, and it's just like the whole time you've not noticed.
Like one of them legs is on your foot, sort of thing, the way you're sat.
So before we start, I go, Captain Zho Zho, Mr. Zho Zho, Sir.
Cauld.
Who knows my name? Before we start, do you want cold or do you want cold?
Do an insight, see if you know what he's on about. Inside check. I know what he's on about, but do you know what he's on about?
That is an 18 plus 5.
Yes, so you're very aware that when battle commences, Cauld's a different person.
At this moment in time, I'm looking for.
A pacifist?
I am looking for the Cauld who can sort me out in battle.
Right, fine. Right, got this. So he stands up, and midriff's still showing, and he looks like he's about to punch his chest. But as he reaches in, there's like cracks that happen along his body, like like a disturbed pool of lava. And with a grunt, he just pulls this 4.5 foot sword out of his stomach. And as he's doing this, these cracks all like spread all across his body, all over his face. So his whole body just looks like this shimmering pool of it's like solidifying and cracks, orange glowing through, and then blacks and oranges and reds and stuff like that. And he just puts this similar looking sword just down next to him. It's like, right, what are we fighting?
During this whole ordeal, Typhus is just sat there, just trying to get some lines right on the map that he's just doodling away on at the time. Just as if this is a normal Tuesday for him.
Do a perception check as you're sort of doodling away on your maps.
Dara's are like slightly brighter as well.
9.
Yeah, we're doing on maps. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. This is a map you've been working on. You're just putting some more bits on it. As that happens, Cauld sits back down.
His leg is jittering the entire time.
The room sort of hush falls over us, even though everybody's got their own role and their own crew. Almost their own crew as a part of your crew. They head up. They are your generals, the generals of Zho Zho, the people that you look to lead your crew in your stead, on your behalf. You look around looking for something as you hold your crew council.
So as we discussed prior, Zho Zho isn't partial to, or is partial to, having a shot of sake, his own sort of drink. Just a preference before everyone else has sat down. I don't think that he's also accommodated the rest of his crew with like rum, whiskey, whatever. He's got a few different bottles around the table, and what he's done as he's about to stand up, so he's sat at his table and he's put both palms down on the table and pushed himself up. What he's done then is knowingly, or sort of knowingly, has poured corresponding drinks as to what people need. Once he's done that, he comes back round to himself and he pours himself a shot of sake and he rests himself back down. And Zho Zho will go, I have been well informed. We are in good pursuit of a ship containing the artifact that will lead us on our first step. The first step of our journey as a crew of the New Dawn. The journey I promised all of you. The journey where we can be better, where we can be free, where we can be ourselves. All I ask now, going clockwise around the table, is your input as to how we approach the situation. The vessel we seek is within our grasp. You are all aware of how my council works. You suggest your ideas. You cannot vote for your own ideas. I myself stand alone, impartial. So I am, in want of a better phrase for all of the people I've heard say never winter, all ears. Matryn, as my quartermaster and a man as I have known for a long time, although your codes sometimes intertwine and conflict with mine, what is your choice?
Captain, I think the best way that we get this done is a shock and awe. So we come up, and I know you don't want to damage the ship, but we go into the ship. just slightly. And we have men ready on the crow's nest and perches and on the... what's the rope ladder?
Rigging.
On the rigging. So we have people waiting there with ropes. And as soon as we make contact, we go. And we send as many men as possible straight across. And we go for a fast, quick attack and try to take the ship as quickly as possible.
So you are suggesting a shock and awe, ram and bolt.
Yes.
Cauld.
Lean and arm. I may sound like a broken record, but fire is always good.
Cauld. I know you in many ways that people don't.
Also, you only have 2 of it. You know all of it.
That's done me.
It's
But I didn't say it was deadpan, but he said deadpan. That's all it.
although people don't appreciate who you are, and let alone know who you are, your deadpan view of the world always entertains. When you say fire, what are you suggesting?
We encircle them with a ring of fire so that there's no escape, and we bottleneck them. And maybe connecting onto Matryn's idea, and we ram them or they burn.
Thank you, Cauld.
You just hear a deadpan.
Cyren, what is your take on the situation?
My proposal would be, when we close distance with the ship, I concur with Matryn that we have men ready. But what I can also do is, my recommendation would be to take maybe 5 men and have them circle around to the other side of the ship and climb on board from the other side to attack the enemy from behind while they're trying to repel our main force. I can provide the means to get between our ship and theirs, but it can only be 5 men. And I will lead them personally.
Are you suggesting that we stab our enemies in the back?
I suggest that we misdirect them.
I suggest you think about your code of honor.
If this artifact you are after is important as you say, I would rather not risk us losing it.
Your points are well noted by the council. Typhus.
I feel like we need to get more information on this before we mount anything. I agree with my colleague over there that we need to... a smaller party may be more beneficial than a full frontal attack, because we don't want to risk damaging the artifact. As this ship has not been at port for quite some time, I don't imagine the crew's that large. It may be worth a small party going over there and doing some reconnaissance. As Cyren can take on various forms, he will probably be the best at doing this reconnaissance for us, and I can always get us back to the ship in a push. But That would be a very small party of only 2 of us. What are your thoughts, Captain?
My second thought. Spiteful.
I thought that was always your first thought.
There's no I in team. There's loads of them in. Fuck it, I don't care how small the room is, I cast Fireball. It counts, no. It's a popular TikTok sound.
And that's just in character.
It's not that dumb, it's just not very perceptive.
Zho Zho's going to, you know, when someone sort of like pushes their chair back with their hands, and with their feet, and pushes themselves away from the table. He's going to do that, and he's going to stand up with his arms folded. He's not going to do anything. Maybe they expect from a captain, almost like slam his hand down or do something authoritative. He's not going to do that. The sliding of the chair back is almost enough. He's going to cross his arms and then use his left hand to caress his face mask. You know, he's not touching like his actual face. The actual action there is not meaningful, but to him, it is. He's going to bring it down to his cheek. I summon you here as my crew council. The ideas of shock and awe, the ideas of fire and encirclement. They are different to my ways, but that is why I have you here. The ideas of subterfuge to send people ahead and stabbing our enemies in the back does not sit well with me. Typhus, you've agreed to this, and I appreciate we wish to preserve the new dawn. If I was to understand both mindsets at my table, then I would be lying to say that I'm an honest man. Because I don't. The reason I sit with you is because you are my voices. You are the people who conduct this ship. My fighters, my morale support, my crewmaster and ship preserver, and the person who guides me on these perilous seas.
I have one on the leg down.
And he's almost cross on here.
I ask nothing more than our normal rules of council. Each idea will be passed around, and I will announce them. Hands will be raised.
Will Luther be involved?
I think Luther will not be able to raise a finger, let alone a hand. I will go round the table and hands will be raised in agreement with the plan. This is when Zho Zho will slam his left fist down the table. But do not forget, I am your captain, and will pursue the way I deem necessary to reach our goal. First, Matryn, all in favour of the shock and awe. Ramming into the enemy ship and boarding with a boarding party on the rigging, on the mast, in the crow's nest as soon as possible. Raise their hands. That's
Plus
And
2.
mark that as 1 and Matryn. All of those.
I do have amendments to his plan, but I think his would be the best.
All of those in favour of Cauld's encirclement by fire, and either letting them surrender or pursuing them through the rings of fire and death, raise their hands.
There's always amendments to the plans. We don't need to say it every time.
Cauld. What are your amendments?
Lisa's honest.
Are you suggesting more fire?
I'm suggesting the almost slip back into non-core then. Slams it back down. I suggest, as the ramming takes place, you allow me in a jetty to go forward, and I was wrong before, it's not a straight fire. It's a straight line of 30 foot of fire. I can make a line of fire, making them slow down to make the ram more successful.
Upon hearing the amendment to Cauld's plan, upon using a 30-foot line of fire to slow the enemy vessel, as we use a jetty of a select few men to board and decipher the situation, has anyone changed that Cauld's plan?
Typhus sticks his hand up.
No further. Zho Zho will add Typhus to the vote and will ignore Matryn because he voted in the first place.
This is like my character of the barbarian thinking he needs to vote because he doesn't understand that actually. That actually, like, he thought his now first vote has been rescinded because his plan has changed.
Coming back to Kai,
I'm with you. I understand.
any who feel a small party of 4 to 5 men boarding the enemy ship without any prior engagement would be a good idea, then please raise your hands.
Can I just add, Captain, first? Remember, anybody who gets hurt, I'm the one who has to fix them.
You may have to fix them, Cyren.
Set them on the grave, so.
But a small party of 5 departed from our ship to stab our enemies in the back could die without our knowing.
Then I shall amend my proposal as well. I would like to tag on to Typhus's plan that we still do a small insertion of just 2 people, as I believe that is what Typhus could bring back in an emergency.
So upon hearing the amendment to Cyren's plan, does anybody else wish to concur with him? Listening to furthermore, my friend Typhus. What?
You're going to catch up with the ship in 4 hours.
You've currently been in your crew council for 2 hours. As people keep making amends to their original ideas.
To a DM and they're all going, alright.
Full disclosure, I just rolled something a minute ago. Luther's dead. I literally just rolled for death saves. He's dead.
So appearing
You guys have got no idea.
to the amendments to Cyren and Typhus' plan. If I understand correctly, we are to launch a small jettison of men to board what we understand as this full ship. Possibly acquired with enemies. The enemy is close. Does anyone agree with Typhus's plan? To launch a small jettison event to board that ship and acquire the artifact without being seen. Raise your hands now.
I was talking to Dara.
Dara's voted every time.
Just happy to be bold.
And every time someone's giving a bit of.
Yeah, it's just
He thinks every time he puts his hand up, he gets a little bit of muffin. The muffins.
How would you know it's me just from a leather pouch? Just
Dara, you slut.
Zozo still stood up with his sort of hands on the table like that. And when you put up sort of on the table. Judging by our system, by our votes, we're looking at following Cauld's plan with 2 votes. To 1 to Matryn's, 0 to Cyren's, and 0 to Typhus.
I put my hand up.
Cyren voted for Typhus. Doesn't
Beg
change.
your pardon, I did not.
Doesn't change the result of your vote, but he did.
I'm just ignored here. I see.
With 0 to Cyren and 1.
What I will say as your DM, just to add a bit of as you are captain, you have instilled this system in yourself. This is the way you run your ship. However, you are the captain. If you want to overrule and do what you want, I am sure your crew will follow you.
Listening well to my crew counsel, I appreciate the willingness of some to throw themselves into the fire. I also appreciate others who wish to see it done properly, if that is the right term for it. In doing so, I will meet both parties, as it seems to be, in the middle. An attack of fire will be conducted. It will prevent the enemy fleet from fleeing. In the disarray of the enemy fleet, since we are all here as the crew council, we will be the ones who board the enemy ship. On a jettison individual to the new dawn, we leave that in the capable hands of the rest of the crew. They will hold the enemy ship at bay with their fire attacks, and we will search for the artifact.
As that you say them words, the camera's going to sort of back away slightly and sort of go via each member of Zho Zho's generals and Zho Zho himself as a sort of look of approval and acceptance of every man comes on here. Every man around this table has proved his worth in battle and outside of it, and knows that once again you're going to foray. You have taken down many ships, many ships, and this seems to be another one. The camera is going to sort of come out of the council room as it comes across the deck of the ship again, as people seem to be getting ready to initiate in this battle, in this ship, in this pursuit of almost being ready to board, ready. They know something's about to happen, and as we fade away and come out of it, we will fade to black and end episode. You can do one thing before we end.
Right, that's over. I'm going to pick up the sword and then go to sheath it behind my back, except I've got no sheath there, so it goes like straight into the skin in the back of my neck and just disappears completely. You know, right, no, that's over with. I've got one muffin left. Muffin loafer. I'll see you all later.
We then fade to black. Like as the camera pans away, we hear your voice saying that, and like in the you can see you sheathing your through a window. You hear your voice coming back, and we fade to black. Green. after we fade to black, we hard cut to Luther dead on the deck at the bottom of a staircase, having bled out. Cauld just walks up, just places a muffin next to him, and heads into his kitchen.
Oh, you sleep at that big guy.